Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You're not?
No, my mother had me tested.
Okay.
I mean, she bailed me out.
Yeah.
Almost a true story.
It was your dad that bailed you out.
No, it was my wife. I called my dad, but he said...
I remember that story. Yeah.
He was too drunk to come get me, so... he contacted my wife.
Had he tried to come get you, you two could have spent the night together.
We would have been bunkies.
Yeah, that could have been good.
That wouldn't have been good at all. He snores really, really loud, or he did.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. Oh, yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Well, I did. It was
God
just kind of depressing.
No, I meant, never mind. You're listening to At Odds, if you haven't figured that out. I'm Brian, and over there's Nate.
Hello.
He's too close for comfort. Thanks for joining us. We'll have an interesting show. We've got a lot of different stuff to talk about.
You're just making big promises right out the
am.
gate, huh?
Yes, it's okay. It's an adequate show. I mean, you might as well go watch something else right now or listen to something else.
Yeah.
Today's July 11th, Thursday.
It is 7-Eleven. I hope, because I think it's too late now.
Ooh,
I hope you got your free Slurpee today.
Oh, did they?
From 7-Eleven. Yeah, it's their birthday, right? And this year I heard, and I think it was verified.
It was on the internet. It's true.
Yeah. No, that they were giving out 12-ounce Slurpees this year. So I don't know if that's true or not. Give us a call. Let us know. But
what
last year
like?
was 6-ounce.
Oh,
I think.
wow!
So
could they spare it?
You know what I heard? Because I heard it on the radio.
Maybe you just walk by and they just throw a glob in your face.
I heard on the radio, and then I verified it with somebody, a manager at a 7-Eleven. But they said 12-ounce Slurpees at 7-Eleven this year. Last year they were 6 ounces, so they've almost doubled the size this year. Yes, they have. Almost. They've almost doubled it from 6 to 12.
That manager was your brother, wasn't it?
No, my brother's much smarter than that. And listens to this show, and bigger than you.
Okay.
So.
I love Nate's brother. Anyways, we're in the back room of the Nook and Cranny bar and studio in a small village in what country, Nate?
Canada.
We're in Canada?
We're in Canada.
That's not really a country. That's really just like a northern state of the United States.
Oh, yeah, you can't really tell the difference either.
No, you drive right into one, right into the other.
We are in Saugatuck, Quebec.
We could throw a rock and hit Canada.
I can see Canada.
No, I mean, we're in Canada. We could throw a rock and hit the U.S.
I can see Canada from my back porch.
From my back porch, Canada is right there.
Almost.
And we're ready when they attack. And they will.
They will.
Like us on Facebook. Visit our website, which is, I think, my parents, or no, opencarry.org.
Yeah, no, it's atoddshow.com.
What did I say?
You said my parents
something.
That's our book, My Parents
Yeah,
opencarry.com. Check that out. It's a pretty good deal now. You get a free copy of Bond of Unseen Blood. MyParentsOpenCarry.com.
Also check out the Nathan Nephew Show. Nate has his own half-hour talk show where he gets to relieve stress and rant and rave and bitch about the world.
And Brian.
And me, because I'm usually not there. And that's on, what's that on?
Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk
as well as
Radio.
NathanNephew.com.
Are we on that?
We are. At Odds is also on Red State
We made
Talk
it another
Radio.
week.
We were, and
we didn't get fired.
I will tell you, look for some announcements over the next several
weeks,
days to years.
From you? Or from...
Yeah, from us. From us. I haven't talked to you about it at all yet.
There's
going to be some announcements.
I keep not getting the memo.
Yeah, it may involve new talent, replacing some of the dead weight.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to miss you, Nate.
Yeah. Yeah, while you're sitting at home listening to my show.
I used to be on that show.
You'll be... You'll be like the original drummer of the Beatles. I was on that show before.
I was the best. I don't know kind of how that was sort of Australian. It wasn't really English. Or Liverpool accent.
Liverpool.
Anyways, I'm going to mix myself a drink here.
Have you been following the Zimmerman trial at all?
What's the Zimmerman trial?
George Zimmerman, he murdered in cold blood a 17-year-old precious little child.
Well, they ought to hang this guy.
And the media has.
Oh. Metaphorically?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So far.
So far.
Yeah,
the rope has been bought.
I doubt there's anybody that hasn't heard of it, but basically it's a self-defense case out of Florida. Should be a local case, but it's became very, very, very
when President
nationalized.
Obama
When President Obama said, "If I had a son, he would look like Trayvon." Yep. So,
you mean he'd be dead?
Yeah. Oh, that's not funny.
That's too soon.
That's not funny.
Too soon.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, the president didn't see any pictures of Trayvon Martin while he was alive.
He just heard he was kind of a black guy.
Yeah.
Well, so is he.
Right. So that's what he was thinking.
Kind of a black guy. I've been following it. Listened to a lot of the trial streaming live on the internet. They have their closing argument started today. The prosecution was throwing out all kinds of stuff. It was interesting. What was interesting is what the juries couldn't hear, and that was the behind-scenes stuff where the court, which is the judge, and the attorneys were discussing what instructions would be given to the jurors in deciding this case. And boy, oh boy, was there drama there.
Yeah, because essentially what happens in trial court is you have opening statements by both sides, then you have witness testimony, questions asked, cross-examination, all that. Jury hears all of this. Then you have closing arguments. And then the court reads usually a prepared document that gives specific rules of what the jury can take into consideration, what they can't, what the laws mean, which is weird because it's what the court thinks the laws mean.
Right, and that's the problem.
And
it's obvious she
how
doesn't
to
really
apply
understand
certain
that.
laws and the difference between evidence and opinion and statements and arguments and things like that.
And some of those instructions are mandated by law. So there's really some things they can't change. The wording has been opined upon by the Supreme Court of Florida and stuff. Other stuff can be kind of negotiated and played on and worked a little bit. They have some room to try to, and both sides are trying to get the best instructions that favor, their side. Usually before a trial, the defense kind of knows what the charge is, and so that they can prepare a defense against that charge.
Yeah.
But today the prosecution came out and had just given to the defense at 7:30 this morning via email, we're going to add a bunch of charges on there. We're going to add reckless endangerment. We're going to have third-degree murder on there. Manslaughter was always on the table. We're also, by the way, we're going to charge him with child abuse.
Well, that was the third degree murder, and the underlying felony would have been child abuse.
Yeah, and the defense attorney was just astounded, and the judge got a little prissy with him, but he's like, "You got to be kidding me, Your Honor!
Yeah.
Why don't you just throw in vehicular homicide while you're at it? We have no time to prepare for this defense. This is ridiculous. If you think this is a child abuse case, the prosecution's case is so weak that they have to throw that in there." And she allowed it. Well, did she allow it? I can't remember.
Well, we don't know yet. I don't think. Yeah.
Well, she had to decide because they finalized the instructions, and I want to say she didn't allow some third-degree murder thing.
Well, that would have been it. I think that the only
exactly.
third-degree murder that I heard, and of course I did other work today, but the only third-degree murder charge that I heard,
is listening.
Was with
like he had listened to this,
and he does. Was the
he's really a boring guy.
Have I told you how much I love my job
and your boss?
My boss mostly. Geez. Yeah, the only third-degree murder charge that I heard that they were trying to levy was the child abuse.
So I want to say she said, I'm not going to allow, or I'm not going to instruct them on third degree.
But essentially, it looked like in the defense called it a trick by the prosecution.
Yeah, and she said, stop using that word. The court will not tolerate the word trick.
Well,
I would have said scheme.
7:30 this morning, and I think court started at 8 or 9. I'm not sure, but it was this morning.
Early, yeah.
he said the defense said he was sent a full argument, 15 cases cited.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing.
And he said there's no way that he came up with it last night.
He says this has been brewing with them for probably a year, putting this together, and this is the first we're hearing about it. And Your Honor, I want time to evaluate this. And it was.
Yeah. She said she would have granted them time, not hours, but she would have granted them time
minutes
to come up. Yeah, pretty much. The judge has been interesting because yesterday
I couldn't read her right away.
Before the defense rested, even they still had 2 or 3 witnesses to go. She started questioning George Zimmerman on whether he wanted to testify, and he's like, "Well, I haven't decided yet." She said, "Well, when will you decide?" The prosecution, his attorney, says, "Well, I object. The trial isn't over yet." Usually,
you mean the defense said that, or
the defense?
Yeah,
usually you wait for us. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
usually you wait for us to close, and then you ask him, or at least after we've called all of our.
And he goes,
witnesses.
"I object," and she says, "Overruled."
Yep.
And stop it. She scolded him. "Stop objecting to my decisions."
And I heard mixed thoughts about this. That he was kind of rude. He needs to respect the court. Right. My thought is, this is a man's life. George Zimmerman's life is on trial.
Matter, even though he opened with a joke.
Professionalism and respect for the court and things like that, you need them when you can. But doing what's right for your client
is always right.
It trumps professionalism or not annoying the judge. Right. If what's going on isn't right, and the next word that's uttered may have consequences in that trial because you don't know
this man's
what your client's going to say when he's being questioned, you haven't come to a decision with him yet, I think it's okay to interrupt.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing about objections during the closing argument, that usually the lawyers just sit back and let the other side say whatever the hell they want. But in this case, and in the Jodi Arias trial, the defense objected during the closing argument.
Yeah,
so.
And I realize that Zimmerman's in shock. I mean, I would be too. But if he'd have been a little sharper, he should have told the judge, I'm going to reserve my right to testify until after my case rests. Not at this time, Your Honor.
Well, that was the thing.
I'm going to reserve that decision.
He said, "I haven't decided yet." She said, "How much time do you need?"
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't. It depends on how long the recess is.
We still have more witnesses."
Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, come on.
Yeah, and there was some issue about some grammar in some of the statutes, and it was a thing where it was like they have to meet this or this, or this or something for the self-defense to be justified or something. And she kept saying, well, they have to meet, all of those. There has to be great bodily harm, or the threat, it has to be all of those. And he's like, no, it's or. It's or. It's this or this or this, and even the prosecutor's like going, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
And she's like, I do not think you know what that word means. But
yeah, it's
and yet she was so proud of herself when she found a comma out of place. She was giggly almost. She was like, "Oh, I noticed that you guys, according to this other case, you put a comma in the instructions, and that's not allowed anymore."
It was kind of funny because she said, "Is there any argument?" And the defense is like, "Well, yeah," but he was talking about it. He was in the wrong place. It was kind of funny because I was like, "Wow, they're going to argue over that," but then they
and then the defense is like, she goes, "No, down lower," and he goes, "Oh, that comma? No, I don't have a problem with that."
Yeah, that's fine.
So I mean, they're human. They're tired. It's going on. I understand. And and that's the problem with the system is that
it's interesting to watch a trial because you don't get too many chances to see it through and see everything. Even when you're on the jury, you don't see what we can see at home.
Right.
But this should not be in court. I really don't think it should be in court at all right now.
Oh, the case.
I don't think there should have been charges brought up in this case.
I mean, you're going to have 50% of the country are
the local
say
police
yes
department.
No,
the local police department did an investigation. In fact, the ex police chief, I think he resigned, did he get fired?
Yeah,
whatever,
he
was forced out. I know that much. But
he's admitted it was fired.
He said that the city manager, the mayor, they're like, well, just charge him. I don't care if it gets dismissed next week.
Right.
We just want an arrest.
Right.
And he said, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
Sorry.
I mean, some police do that all the time.
Well, he said, and later, just the other day, he said, I stayed true to my oath. I took an oath. I followed it.
Good for
I
him.
lost my job.
I wish everybody police chief was like that.
If every police chief was like that, we wouldn't have these issues, and they wouldn't be losing their jobs when one of them stands up and does their job.
The country would be a better place.
It's pathetic.
Because we're going to get into some police issues, I think, later in the show.
Do you? I think there will be a full acquittal. I think it will be.
Boy, I don't know.
I think
don't
so.
know.
Either way, do you think that we'll see violence? I mean, will it be the Rodney King?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Especially after Newtown and Boston. How quickly they can deploy tanks in 50 calibers.
So you think that the militarized police taking over Boston and the surrounding area actually will help in this case?
Maybe.
Yeah. I completely disagree with that.
Oh, okay, we'll see.
I will say when you have something as emotional as this case, because most of the media is looking at it from on a racial basis,
right? Which was brought up again in the closing argument. This is not about race, but Martin Luther King said,
"Yeah, right."
Oh my God!
What?
Let's slip the race in there.
Yeah. I don't think there's too much.
He was a 16-year-old boy. Well, he was 17, but not by much. He was a 16-year-old little boy.
He just had Skittles and iced tea. I don't think there's much you can do to deter people that are as emotional as I think some people will be on either side when they get the verdict.
I think the world's a different place than it was with Rodney King, and they keep going back because that was a big case.
Al Sharpton's still around. And
no, but I mean the social media is different. The internet is different. Law enforcement is by far much different. More people are licensed to carry firearms. There's a lot of issues that'll come into play.
But the people that are licensed to carry firearms in Florida, do you think they're going to have second thoughts?
That's what this case is about, too. It's trying to put a chilling effect on self-defense.
Yeah.
That's why it's such an important case.
I don't know.
Not only
I don't
Florida,
know that
but
it is
nationwide. Oh, it is.
I don't think it was brought up on any specific agenda except appeasing the really loud voices of tolerance.
No, but
that's really what I think.
But you got to look beyond. Oh, I don't know if that was the initial purpose.
I think that'll be the effect.
But I think the effect of that is very, very big in regards to self-defense. Very few cases of self-defense in Florida since that law went into effect. It was one of the first states to have
stand your ground law,
the stand your ground type of thing. Yeah.
I mean,
it has been a model for around the country for other states, including Michigan. So I think that's part of it. It'll become a chilling effect on you. You'll think twice before pulling that trigger, and it may cost people their lives.
Well, either way, even if he's acquitted, I mean, think about what he's went through already.
Well, yeah, his life is ruined.
So every other law-abiding gun owner doesn't want to do that.
I think the other thing we learned, I hope we learned, and we should have known as citizens of a free state, is talking to the police after any kind of incident, let alone a shooting. I wasn't aware that he had, spent so much time talking to the police without an attorney.
Oh, absolutely.
Reenacted stuff, said stuff, contradicted himself, which I understand because it's confusing. He's in shock. It was shortly after the incident.
And they're grilling him.
I wouldn't be in my right mind any more than I am now after something like that. I would never talk to the police.
The one good thing that it did point off, he has been consistent on the main points of the incident. He may have changed up a few little facts and things like you would, because
certainly
you probably don't remember a whole lot of it because it's kind of traumatic.
And you think of more later, and then you change it because it was you've added new data or you're trying to say it in a different way. And that's what the police try to do. They want to try to trip you up and have you come up with all kinds of inconsistencies.
In general, his story's been fairly consistent and in line with evidence. So I don't think the state has met their burden of proof. I don't think at all that they have.
Well, yeah. So I know there could be some doubts because the prosecution's trying to confuse the jury by saying he instigated. Oh, let me get back to that. That's the other thing is one of the one of the defense attorneys wanted to include in the instructions to the jury that following somebody is not against the law, and that you are allowed to follow somebody, especially a block captain who is trying to give descriptions and keep track of a suspect. And she goes, "Well, show me the law that says you can do that." And he's like, British common law, if it's not against the law, it's legal.
Yeah.
And she just, no, show me the law that says you can follow somebody and it's not against the law. And he's like, I don't have to. The fact that there is no law against it means it's not against the law.
Right.
I want it in there. It's crucial because the prosecution has kept harping on the fact that my client instigated this by following him, and somehow he was doing something illegal. And she goes, no, I'm not going to put that in there. I just, that kind of stuff is aggravating.
Yeah, it is. And I hear a lot of people that say they love this judge, but I don't know.
I see. Yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't read her very well. I'm getting more of the sense that she certainly, if there's a scale, she leans a little bit towards the prosecution, and I think a lot of judges do, especially if they sympathize with the case.
Here's the other problem.
But
she's been thrown into the spotlight just like everybody else involved.
Right,
her cases usually aren't on CNN
national
all day
television,
long.
or international TV.
Right. So I bet she is a little worried too. And that's my biggest fear in this. If it turns out that George Zimmerman is guilty and there's a guilty verdict, he deserves it. My fear is that the jury, the judge, everybody will be swayed by knowing what's waiting on the outside for them. I mean, these juries don't really have privacy anymore, and everyone knows who they are.
I don't know where you're going with that.
There is a legitimate fear of violence if there's an acquittal.
Okay,
I
so
think
what?
there is. So you think that that's not going through any of these jury members, the jurors' minds?
I think that it has to be.
Absolutely.
But I hope they can go beyond that.
I hope so too. Not everybody
can. But what does that have to do with the judge? We were talking about the judge.
I think she's also on television. I think she has the same issue. She's not gonna come up with the verdict, but she's still part of this. And if she screws up and makes people mad, and they blame her for whichever side losing,
yeah, maybe. She's made it very clear, though. She says, if you don't like my decision, that's what appeals are for, and you can appeal this.
Yeah, but maybe let's try to get it right the first time.
We've run into judges like that in Michigan.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. Give us a call, 248-455-ODDS. Talk at oddshow.com, at oddshow.com.
We'll be back.
If you're looking for a great time, I suggest you listen to the At Odd Show with Nate and Brian.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
Welcome back to At Odds. I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
Hey, we were talking about the Zimmerman case. Interesting stuff. I don't know. Do you want to continue to discuss this a little bit, or do you want to go on to some of the other things? I think that the defense is going to close tomorrow. I hope.
Hey, let's keep talking about it.
Okay. I'm just summarizing, and we have no idea how long the jury could take. I mean, they could go in there an hour, or they could go in there for 3 weeks.
Here's the other thing that I actually learned, because believe it or not, Brian, with my experience, I'm not yet an expert on
law
trials.
Yeah. You will be someday, son. You will be.
I'm getting there, but not yet an expert yet. And it's a lot different from the defendant's seat also.
Right.
Sitting in there, you don't get quite the same perspective. And
no, I know.
Different things running through your head.
I'm often the defendant.
Yeah. Now I forgot what... Oh, after the defense gives their closing argument, the prosecution could have, and I think did, reserve some time for a rebuttal.
Yeah, which isn't really fair, because the idea of having the defense go second is that it's freshest in the minds of the jurors, and it gives the defense a slight advantage, and that was intentional.
It's but no, the prosecution has a huge advantage because they can give their argument, listen to the defense's argument,
and then counter
that.
Yeah,
so they get the best of both worlds.
I don't. That shouldn't be.
So we'll see if that happens, and I'm sure it will.
Moving on, do you like those speed cameras, the cameras that take pictures of you speeding, or stop lights, or stop all that stuff?
The cameras themselves, they're
not
pretty nice.
Not the cameras, but the idea of using the cameras to collect
absolutely not
money.
I don't know what kind of question that was, because I'm not sure anybody likes them, other than people who...
Municipalities seem to like them.
People,
and the private companies
people who benefit from them. Oh, sure,
those.
Of course.
Did you realize that the cities hire private companies to basically administrate that?
Which, in cases of constitutional and acceptable behavior, that's how it should work.
Okay. Moving on from your, capitalism, free market.
Yeah, my privatization of
stuff,
things.
I mean...
Why would you put money in the hands of private citizens?
We don't want
That's
to do
terrible.
That. Well, look what's happening in the prison, and that's another argument, and I'll discuss that later at some other time when we have 7 hours.
I think the prisons are pretty successful.
The private ones?
Yeah, they're making lots of money.
They're getting fired left and right. And they're being sued off for all kinds of abuses. Yeah. And that's what happens when you don't have some government regulation, but that's my opinion.
Oh, don't tell me there's no government regulation on those jails.
Not much.
On the private prisons.
Not much.
Sure there is.
No, there's not.
Okay.
No, there's not.
You're right.
There's no real oversight.
None.
I didn't say none. It's not much.
You said that's what happens when there's no government regulation.
Right, and I modified that.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about that now, because I'll end up throat punching you, and that won't be good for any of us, and then I'll be back in the defense.
You can't reach my throat.
Then I'll be... Well, I can. With my foot.
See?
Then I'll be back in the defense seat again, and,
you will.
And I hate being there. I saw something in Virginia that says that while Virginia may allow their use, there is no penalty for you not paying it. So what it is it's a sucker's game.
That's interesting.
People get the ticket and they go, "Oh, I better pay this," and they just pay it. And there's other people that know the real story, and they don't pay it, and nothing happens.
Here's an analogy from I've seen it in Michigan.
Real life.
From real life, unlike that one, which was in Virginia, which is like
unicorns and fairies.
Yeah, no, in Michigan. So people listening may have actually experienced this. It's like going to the police post, the Michigan State Police Post, and seeing the "No firearms allowed" beyond this door sign to get into the lobby.
Passive enforcement.
Yeah, they cannot legally enforce that.
Right.
But if you don't know that, or just want to follow the rules, you won't carry a firearm in there.
Right, even though it's lawful.
Right.
And they know that, because I've discussed this with them. And they said, we're not taking them down. We don't
of course
care.
they're not, because they don't have to take them down.
Right, there's no penalty for having it up.
They just can't enforce them. Now, I will tell you that there are cases where they have tried to enforce it. Maybe not the Michigan State Police, probably not the Michigan State Police, but other more local police departments in Michigan. But that's a whole nother story.
Unlike this in Cincinnati, where a judge said, not only do I not want you using those cameras, I want you to impound them, take them down, deactivate them, burn them at the stake. And all of those people that have gotten tickets that are outstanding, do not collect money from them. Unfortunately, they continued to have them up, and they continued to collect money from the people, and the private company that ran that Optotraffic. The judge found them in contempt of court and said, if you don't take those down, somebody's going to jail. Good for the judge.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's absolutely the right ruling.
And the judge's ruling was that it was unconstitutional.
Every time I saw a new city, saying that these were popping up, we're having, it's going to be great. I just went, a little more freedom gone.
Terrible. I don't know that Michigan allows them yet. I thought there was something.
I've never seen one, but I've gotten 10 or 15 tickets in the mail. I didn't know how they knew it was me. But,
Did you? You have not.
No, I haven't.
No, I don't think they can do it in Michigan.
Nope. And I'll tell you, Illinois hasn't called me about those tolls either. So that's good.
Okay.
I'm joking, Illinois.
Remind me not to be anywhere near your house or anything when the feds bash in your door like they did it. Poor Adam. U.S. Postal Service photographing.
Poor Adam. Really?
I'm a sympathizer.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a sympathizer with everybody that's wrong.
No, I'm with everybody that stands up for freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I commend them.
Even when they do it in probably the least effective way possible.
We'll see. Gandhi started out with simple protests. Rosa Parks made one stand.
Yeah.
It all starts with an individual, Nate. I know you don't have the courage to do that.
Yeah.
But Adam does.
Yeah.
And whether he's crazy
not,
I
don't know if it's the courage.
Gun owners are missing an opportunity by not supporting him because essentially this is about gun rights.
You're wrong.
Yeah, well,
you're absolutely wrong.
No.
Here's the thing, because I said he was. We're talking about Adam Kokesh, however you say.
Yeah.
He was planning to have the march on D.C. on Independence Day this year.
A loaded firearm march.
And then he got arrested and charged with
assaulting a federal officer.
Which didn't happen. That was crap.
Right, that was
from
on
what
video.
I saw.
On video, yeah.
The video I saw, that was absolute crap.
And they knew that. They just wanted to teach him a lesson.
Absolutely.
So they put him in jail for a while.
He called the march off.
Right. He said he'd do it himself if he had to.
But his plan said he said, I'm not doing the march unless I have 10,000 people with me.
Right.
And I said, 10,000 people marching on Washington, D.C. is not enough, and it will make no difference, and in fact probably make things worse.
Right. But one person, I think, will make a difference.
Definitely one person.
I disagree with that entirely.
Is
absolutely entirely
worse than 10,000 people. Yeah, absolutely. Because how easy is it to dismiss him as just a crazy guy with a gun in Washington, D.C.?
Right. But the thing is, what he's doing, Nate, is he's standing up to the government. Let's give some background. What he did on July 4th is he made a YouTube video where he was shown standing, not
in Freedom Plaza.
And he loaded up a shotgun with shotgun shells, made a brief statement about freedom. He wouldn't be intimidated. The next revolution is coming and all that. Got in his van and drove off. And great. And I knew that the federal government couldn't let that stand, so just recently, like yesterday or the day before, I don't know.
A couple days ago,
a SWAT team bashed in his door, threw in flash grenades, helicopters, SWAT team, everything.
They told the neighbors
under
to
a
stay
warrant.
inside,
Now listen, under a warrant to look for
okay.
that shotgun.
Yep.
Now, in doing so, they destroyed his apartment, looked everywhere. Now, usually when you have a warrant, it only allows you to look for something that's reasonable. In other words, you don't look for an elephant in the broom closet. Right? Because an elephant is impossible to fit in there.
What if it's a baby elephant in a large broom closet?
Okay, depending on the size of things. But my point is, you don't look for it in a little jewelry box on top of your dress. They looked for everything. He had a safe. He wouldn't open his safe up. They destroyed his safe to get into it. So did they charge him with having a gun in D.C.? No.
Right.
They charged him with having fungus, that is, mushrooms, and charged him with having a firearm near a controlled substance. Now, he lives with 5 other people. I don't know if they're men and women or both or just one, but he lives with 5 other people. Depending on where they found those mushrooms, if they were in his pocket, that's one thing. Yeah, it's possession. If they found it on the counter, whose mushrooms were they?
Right.
Okay, so this is bullcrap. This is nothing more than intimidation. They're not going to shut this guy down. They're going to have to kill this guy, or they're going to have to put him away in prison forever. And so far, he's called their bluff, and they know they don't have anything. Because if they're searching and found something, especially those mushrooms in a small little container, how do you look for a shotgun in that container? I know open site, if you see something that's out in the open, that's lawful.
And I don't know where they found the mushrooms.
I don't either. There's a lot of information
we don't know. He might have done that
because
he's a nutcase and just said, yeah, I'll put mushrooms out there because that's my right too.
Maybe, but regardless, they didn't charge him for what they went there for.
No,
they
absolutely.
charged him under some
absolutely.
other crap.
And he may get over it, and I hope he has a lot of money.
The point is, he has not killed anybody. He has not harmed anybody under English common law. He hasn't perpetrated any damages on anybody. He's done nothing but having a fungus, and that's what they're going to try to ruin his life
Absolutely,
over.
and that's not even my point.
Wrong. Well, that's partly my point, because it's harassment.
That's your entire point. That's the only point you've made. The law,
and they're trying to quiet him, and that's what the
is
government does.
The law is the law.
If you get people behind him and support him, the government's going to back off.
Look, the real gun owners that care about their rights.
Oh, the real gun owners now. The real gun owners.
That care about their rights.
Right, and he doesn't. Oh, come on, Nate. That's just crap.
Okay. The real gun owners that actually care about their rights, okay,
I object
already.
To that. I object
you
to
object
that.
to what? I haven't said anything. Shut up.
You said real gun owners.
Oh, my God.
Implying
people
that he's not.
aren't you. The people like me who actually care about my rights, okay, we already understand his point. We're already with him as far as why can't I carry a gun in Washington, D.C.? The majority of people who just go about their business not understanding anything, they have a shotgun in the closet, the people that we need them to help us make a difference are going to look at him because they're going to watch ABC News talk about how crazy this one man is in Washington, D.C. with a gun, and it's not going to change their mind. If it changes their mind, it's going to sway them the wrong way, and it's not going to do what he intends it to do for gun rights.
What happened to you, Nate?
What
happened to you?
Logic.
Are you the same man that started Michigan Open Carry with me? Are you this? You're given the same argument that all of these so-called real gun people said about open carry. Oh, they're not real gun owners. If they really were real gun owners, they would stand up and support our right to conceal our guns. But no, they're going to rock the boat and cause all kinds of problems. That's the same argument that these people had, and you despised it.
Did we not stand up for their right to conceal carry?
Now
was not part of our mission. Our mission to also
some guy does something that you don't like that thinks is going to hurt gun rights. You're attacking him just like they did us. That is what you're doing,
the same thing.
And it's hypocritical.
It's not the same thing at all.
Hypocritical.
Tell me what laws we broke.
We didn't break any laws.
Absolutely.
And the thing
it's not the way to change things, is what I'm saying.
I think it is. Unjust, unconstitutional laws can be broken.
It's not going to change anything.
You don't know that.
You're
don't know speculating.
That. But
and you're crucifying this guy before he's even making his point. The point is you need civil disobedience. You need people like this. Yeah. Gandhi broke laws. He was peaceful, but he went against the system, and he faced an entire country that got him out of it.
Did Gandhi get rid of gun control?
I don't know, but he got it. Well, actually, the British imposed a very strict gun control in India, and Gandhi made comments about that. The worst thing the British company or British Empire ever did to India was, gun control. But my point is, it's one man. Now, you may disagree with his methods, but you cannot disagree with his motives.
I didn't ever. This is the problem with talking to you, is you can't listen and understand what the hell I'm saying.
Well, that's because my thought level is so much higher and
that's gotta be
than
it.
yours.
That's got to be it.
That we're on different planes.
All of the sudden today, I decided that I'm not pro-gun anymore, and anybody who owns guns is wrong. That's what I decided. I wasn't talking specifically about this one man who is made out to be a nutcase going into Washington, D.C.
Gandhi was a nutcase.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was, crazy. How can this black man stand against the white establishment? The difference is they eventually got support, and they eventually came around to his thinking because his motives were righteous.
What did you say earlier? The internet's different. Social media is different. The media is different. The police forces are different.
But the principle is the same.
The principle is the same, but it's
And it should be easier for a righteous man to do righteous things in
It's
this
not.
world.
It's absolutely
Now,
it isn't because the wrong side has taken over all of those things. Look at what the media is doing.
We need to
Look
fight
at what's
that
on
as well.
social media.
And we are. And that's what the social
absolutely.
media is doing.
Absolutely.
It'll
we're
take
trying.
time.
It will. It will take time. One point I did want to make was not that long ago we had another man also commit a firearm felony in Washington, D.C., and that was David Gregory on Meet the Press. Right?
What was different?
He pulled out. He was part of the establishment
Oh,
media.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they didn't search his house. They decided, we can't charge him for anything.
Well, that's the problem.
We can't charge him for anything.
The gun owners weren't outraged at that, and they didn't get off of their arses and do something about it.
Yeah, because that was a sticky situation. I said it when we talked about it that I don't want him to be charged with that, but the law needs to apply to everybody equally.
I also haven't noticed Obama coming out and asking for no riots after them. Zimmerman.
No, what did Obama have to say about it?
If
I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
He's been unusually silent about it.
It's not unusual. It's not unusual.
It's not unusual to be
not at all.
loved by anyone.
What did they do when the Black Panther Party, the new Black Panthers, were outside of polling booths intimidating people?
Nothing.
They said nothing about it. In fact, they decided not to charge it and said, probably we're not going to charge African Americans.
Did you hear what the Black Panthers said about this case? That they're not going to riot in the inner city?
Coming to the burbs, man.
Coming to the burbs where all of the whiteys are better trained, have better armaments, have better weapons, and a lot more ammunition. Gated communities and better police force. Bring it on.
No, I don't want that to happen at all.
I don't either.
And I hope it doesn't. But that's why I don't think firearms and concealed carry being allowed in Florida is going to deter anything.
No, maybe not Florida. I'm down nationwide.
Maybe the public service announcements. Did you see the police put out? And it was
pretty hokey.
It was ridiculous.
Pretty hokey.
We have to take a break, though. We kind of went a little long on that one. 248-455 odds.
And now you know why we're called At Odds. I still love you, Nate.
Yeah, it's too bad because we're about as far to the right as you can be on that issue, but we're still arguing about it.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is. So everything can be argued. 248-455 odds. 248-455-6337.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
I'm Brian.
And we're back. I'm Nate.
And you're listening to At Odds. And boy, we were at odds for a little while. But we kissed and made up at the break, so we're fine.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to get the step just off my lip. Nate, though. When did you change from vanilla to cherry? That's nice.
Stop it.
Stop it. U.S. Postal Service, real quick, because we're running out of time. U.S. Postal Service photographing 160 billion letters annually. At the request of law enforcement, they're taking pictures of all the addresses, return addresses, and stuff on all these people and collecting data on everyone.
But they can't open them.
Okay. The idea is they can get a lot of information from who you're writing to, who you're getting stuff from, vice versa.
Do you submit?
It's wrong.
Do you submit?
It can be easily abused because it's so easy to use.
Do you submit?
Like marijuana.
That
It can be abused because it's so easy to use, man.
I get it. But do you submit that in order to push back against this, I should run into my local post office and destroy their cameras?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be an act of civil
disobedience. Can I borrow your driver's license? Because I
would finally have some respect for you.
Would you?
Because Adam's willing to take the responsibility for his actions. He's willing to go to prison.
Is
you
he?
And I, not so much.
Is he?
Well, I think he is.
You think so?
Or he's nuts, one of the two.
Yeah.
All right. Federal court decision.
Can't wait to see you standing next to him on his next YouTube video.
No, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
United States I'll send him some money for his legal defense, though. United States Postal Service cannot ban guns in their parking lots. Federal judge ruled. I don't know where that was. Colorado somewhere. Oh, yeah, it was Colorado.
Also.
That's in Colorado?
I didn't say I wouldn't send him money for his legal defense on a firearms charge either. Because that's
I didn't
not
say
my
you
point.
wouldn't.
Well, I'm just throwing that out there.
Saying we should support him. That we're missing an opportunity to maybe get something done on this. All right, judge upheld a ban. Are we going back there?
I'm just. You're exactly right.
We have 10 minutes left.
I don't think. If everybody supported him, it would be perfect.
You're exhausted.
We are missing the opportunity. That is my point. We're going to miss the opportunity. It's obvious. It was obvious that we would miss the opportunity. So it's not doing the good it could do.
I stopped to listen to you 30 seconds ago.
I don't care.
Okay, fine.
Nobody listens to you.
It's on
ever.
the record now. That's all you want to do.
That's right.
I object.
I object.
All right. So they said, you can't violate a man's right to have a firearm in a parking lot, but we can ban your rights if you bring it into the building, they said, because there are good reasons for banning weapons within the postal buildings itself, the judge said. An individual openly carrying a firearm may excite passions, or excited passions may lead to the use of the firearm. Someone could also attempt to take the firearm from its lawful carrier and use it for criminal purpose. That's the same crap we heard from everybody when we started open carry. And this judge just has to look around them outside their little ivory tower and see that guns are openly and concealed carry all over this country in all kinds of situations, and that doesn't happen.
And nobody's ever tried to take a gun out of somebody's holsters while they were in a Shell gas station in Grayling, Michigan?
The public interest in safety and Mr. Bodney's, that's the plaintiff, liberty can be accommodated by modifying the regulation to permit him to readily access to essential postal services without infringing on him exercising his right to self-defense, except in the post office itself, when all of the non-law-abiding citizens go in there and shoot the place up, because
that doesn't
again,
happen. It's a gun-free.
How many mass shootings have there been in post offices?
Have you heard the term "going postal"?
Yeah.
You think that has anything to do with the post office?
It's a coincidence.
Oh, yeah. Nope, it's not.
That was from the guy's name. It was Postal.
Oh, I'm going postal.
John Postal.
Yeah, he shot up the supermarket.
They did sell stamps. Anyways.
Oh.
I want to get real quick. We got so much stuff to get through, and your little tirade that was all wrong. What do you think? What do you think about the
logic when you think of things?
What about the 15-year-old girl?
Hey, it's just people's lives.
What do you think about the 15-year-old girl that got arrested for child pornography because she had a picture of herself engaged in a sexual activity?
Was
on
she
her
underage?
Phone. She was 15.
Booker.
Yeah, Booker Dano. Be sure to strip search her. She's a feisty one.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
It's absurd.
Yeah. Okay. It is against the law to take naked pictures of someone that's under the age of 18.
Even if you're under the age of 18?
Apparently
and
so.
It's you?
We'll find out.
I mean, really, you have to put some common sense into
Not common
things.
sense, damn it. I hate common sense.
Common sense is different than conventional wisdom, which is often wrong. But
well, how about logic and
wrong
reason?
Too.
Common sense in its true meaning just means you don't have to think about anything. Oh, it's just common sense that the Earth revolves, the sun revolves around the Earth. It's just common sense.
To me, it is common sense.
It doesn't, by the way.
To me, this is common sense. She took pictures of herself. It was wrong. She should be punished at home by her parents.
Or not. I mean, that's up to the parents.
Yeah, I think she should.
Your opinion, she should be punished.
Absolutely. But she shouldn't be charged with a crime of any sort.
A felony. She'll be branded a sex offender for her life.
Yeah, and it's going to ruin her life, and what good did it do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's not going to stop real child
No, absolutely not.
And child porn cases.
Like 4 minutes.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Brian?
Cops killing dogs. Real briefly, I'm going to go. Iraqi veteran.
Want to talk about
they
this
busted into his home. He wasn't there. They shot his dog. Oops.
At least they got the right place.
Oops, wrong apartment.
Oh,
sorry about that, sir.
Oh.
He comes home. His door's all busted in. His dog's dead and gone.
Dog
what
that he claims was actually
happened?
chained up, so it couldn't have possibly attacked the police officers.
Oh, boy.
They claim it wasn't chained up. Don't worry, they'll look into it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Internal Affairs always does an upstanding job. Well, if you Google cops shoot dog, you'll get dozens and dozens of hits that these cops are shooting dogs all the time. So much for that a journal for law enforcement on legal advice, basically liability issues, Law Enforcement Today, came out and had to write an article saying, don't shoot dogs.
If you do, expect a lawsuit.
Yeah, these are these are different times than they were 20 years ago when you could shoot a dog. Dogs now live inside. You know that? They now become members of the family. Oh, I didn't know they did that 20 years ago.
I like that.
And all this crap.
They are
and then he lists a bunch of cases.
Canine companions, not pets, which was weird to me because I've never called Charlie canine companion. Usually I call him son.
Well, that's a little weird, and I'm at odds with that.
I mean, he's my dog is what he is.
I know. He's your little baby.
Yeah, I hate it every time I hear that a cop shot a dog. Really, in any scenario, I absolutely hate it because it's not the dog's fault. It isn't.
Well,
I know. It never is in the
long
term.
You're
it's
saying
not
they
the
should
dog's
shoot
fault.
the owner, or if it's the owner's fault and all that. The fact is, if a dog is a threat to an officer, he has a right to shoot it.
Yeah, I understand that. It doesn't mean I like it.
But if in many cases it's not. It's done out of spite.
To me,
and it's done. As the first action. I thought these guys had pepper spray and nightsticks and things like that. They could use non-deadly deterrents.
Not to me. I think
first they do is take their AR-15s and shoot them.
Elma, Michigan, I think there was a dog like up on somebody's porch or something, and the cop confronted. I don't know because he thought it didn't live there or something, but it defended its own property.
Sure,
I think,
which
and he
is
shot
a good dog do.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And he shot it, and there was uproar. But I mean, to me, this sounds ridiculous, I think, but it's different than when a human attacks a police officer, because in general a human can rationalize and they know what they're doing. Dogs' behavior, when a poor behaving dog, you can almost always point it back to the owner or some sort of trauma that happened. The dog was handled incorrectly, and so I think it's just tragic to me. I'm a dog person. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
I am too.
I enjoy dogs.
We just had to recently put our dog down after 14 and a half years, and it's still very trying.
Yeah.
The good news is Saturday we may be going to see a breeder and look at another lab.
And on your way back, stopping at Wright Park in Old Michigan, rockthewright.com.
It was mentioned that we could do that, and they said, "Is Nate playing?" And I said, "Yeah," and they said, "No, we don't have time for that."
Yeah. I don't believe that.
Okay. Anyways, let's see. Do you want to do one last thing?
Well, I don't want to end on dogs being shot.
Okay, let's try. Police state. Oh, they're all bad stuff. Oh, how about this?
I'd rather talk about the police state. I'll take a police state over a shot dog any day.
No, controversial 4th of July parade float leads to complaints in North Carolina town, where the family who has been in the parade for decades with their tractor pulled a wagon full of watermelons saying, "White History Month, hug white people, yay." And, if we had Celebrate Black History Month, there would not be one person.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how that works? You know what I saw? There's a junkyard in Flint, Michigan.
Well, you got to narrow it down.
I don't know.
No, I mean, the whole city's kind of a junkyard.
I understand, but this was a business ran by a nice, upstanding
Again,
citizen.
I don't see the difference.
Oh, there's a big difference.
Okay.
This one had a fence around it.
Okay.
They put up a big Justice for Zimmerman sign in the middle of Flint, which, of course,
wow.
How do you think that went over?
They
It went over really well.
They had a parade.
I mean, yeah, they had a parade.
It
And
says white power.
the business is no longer open. The
No,
fence
that's
isn't
not true.
standing. No,
You're-
that's
you're-
not
you're
true.
making
That's
that
not true, no.
Well, that's good.
Last I knew, the owner was fine.
All right, we got 1 minute, I think. Maryland residents to pay new rain tax. Did you hear about that?
I did, and I don't. I mean,
We
really,
need-
if it rains,
We need money to enforce all of the environmental protection laws
Here's-
that we created.
Here's the thing.
So how are you going to do that? We're going to tax people that have impermeable surfaces. That's their roof, their driveway, sidewalk, on their property. They're going to look at the square footage and tax them money
But it rains
for every time it rains.
because of everybody driving their SUVs around town, right? I know in Michigan there's regulations that you can only have so much, impermeable surface per grassy area. So you can only have so much parking lot on your property. Things like that. Businesses, there's regulations, certain size businesses and whatnot. It's nuts to me. I don't understand it. But yeah, in this case, they're going to charge you for runoff, essentially, is what they're trying to do.
Right.
Because they have a
if the
problem
water
with runoff.
can't infiltrate into the soils naturally,
Yep.
and it runs off, it goes into the sewer, it taxes the system, it goes into the water, surface water.
It causes global warming.
And we need a bunch of money, so we're going to tax you.
That's essentially it. But now we are out of time, Brian, so good job wrapping that one up.
Thank you. And we want to wish everybody a good night.
Yeah, I hope you got your Slurpee today, really.
I didn't get a Slurpee. It's got too much sugar in it for me. But we'll be back next week with a verdict. And we may or may not be back, depending on the riots and depending on the outcome
Oh, you
of the
think
trial.
we'll have a verdict next week?
I think we will.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow after lunch recess, we'll have a verdict.
I don't think it'll be that soon. It'll be next week, but it'll by Wednesday. That's my prediction.
Okay.
I'm going to say not guilty by Wednesday.
Okay.
Or before. By
Okay.
Wednesday. Yeah, that's
Well, not guilty. I mean, I have pretty much the same prediction.
But we've been surprised before, and jury.
Yeah, OJ.
O.J. Simpson.
OJ. But there would have been riots had he been convicted, you think?
Jury.
So, I don't know.
Juries are tricky things.
All right, Red State Talk Radio, adoddshow.com, facebook.com/adoddshow.
Blah, 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 blah. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.